There are over 500,000 kids in foster care across the United States, and making sure they're well taken care of takes a village. I'm Erin Lindstrom, and this is Foster Care Aware, a production brought to you by Tidewater Friends of Foster Care with support from the Barry Robinson Center. If you've had it on your heart to become a foster parent, volunteer, donor, advocate, or just want to learn more, you're in the right place. For more information on how to move forward, head to fostercareaware.org/next steps. And now I'm thrilled to share today's segment with you. I'm Erin Lindstrom. This is Audra Bullock, the President and Director of Tidewater Friends of Foster Care. And today we have with us LaCora Harris, the Foster Care Supervisor with Spotsylvania DSS, who was formerly in Norfolk and who's also an advisory board member for Tidewater Friends of Foster Care. LaCora, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yay!
Yay!
Great to see you, LaCora.
Mm-hmm. So, LaCora,
can
you tell us a little bit about your journey to becoming a social worker, and why is this work so important to you?
So I started my journey to foster care work in around 2008 when I was going to school for human services degree through ODU. Whoop, 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 whoop. And I started interning at Culpeper Department of Social Services. And after I finished interning there, I decided I wanted to live the big city life. So I moved to Norfolk and I got a job at Norfolk Department of Human Services. Shout out to them. I love them so much. And I had the opportunity to do everything as it relates to foster care, from intake, which is when the kids are coming in, to adoptions. And I even worked with the resource team. So I had the opportunity to train foster parents. So I've had the opportunity to kind of see every aspect of the journey in the foster care system. This work is important because everything about foster care cannot be taken back. So if a child or a parent has a bad experience with me, then that sticks with them. If they are in a home and they have a bad experience in that home, it sticks with them. And guess what? If a foster parent has a bad experience, it sticks with them. So all of it is so important, and it also is so interwoven. That's why it's important to me. That's why I have such a passion for it.
LaCora, first I got to say you're one of my all-time favorite people. Your passion is really it runs deep in your soul. This is really mission-driven work for you, and it shows in everything that you do. You were the intake worker for two of the kids that I had in foster care, and were involved at various aspects of the case, from bringing the kids in and to eventually becoming the worker. Your perspective on foster care, and it really has helped shape me into a servant leader in foster care to step up and do more. Can you describe what in your mind makes a good foster parent? How did you channel me to go in the direction that I did? You were instrumental in that. What are the qualities?
Well, first, thank you for saying that. What makes a good foster parent? To be honest, I think what makes a good foster parent is somebody who can own their imperfections, somebody who's willing to give themselves some grace and willing to give the children that enter their home some grace, and somebody who can communicate, whether it be this isn't the right placement for me, I'm not sure if I'm ready for a placement. If you can have those type of conversations, if you're willing to be open, really, those are the basis of being a great foster parent. It's not about having a huge house to put 1,000 kids in. If you are not willing to understand a child's trauma, you shouldn't have one in your home. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about having this huge space, although it's nice to have a lot of space to put kids in because we need as many homes as possible, right? Mm-hmm. But it's really about having a heart that says, I'm here, I'm willing, I'm open, and I will communicate. And that's really at the basis of it to me.
I agree too. The communication, I think, is key. And LaCora, you and I always had very frank conversations about what's going on in the home. And I remember at first I was very scared to let you know. I thought the answer had to always be, yeah, everything's great. He's doing great. Perfect. We're happy. And it's not necessarily every day. And that's not honest. And it took me a little bit, but I got on the same page with you of the more transparent I can be about what's going on in the home, the better you and I can work together to make sure the placement is successful. So I just can't thank you enough for that kind of perspective.
Thank you. It's really important to know that, you know, one of my favorite things is we're humans servicing humans. So, you know, you made a great point. People are always like, oh, everything's great. And I'm like, is it really? Like, you know, because everything's not great in my house with my kids, and I gave birth to them. So, you know, I try to foster a level of compassion and a level of transparency that says it's okay for you. You're safe with me, to be honest. And I think if I can model that to my families, then hopefully it helps them to model it to the kids, because those kids are holding up a mask too, and they need to know it's safe for them to come out of their shell and divulge these things, their fears, their worries, their concerns, their heart to you. So I want to make sure that I'm delivering that as the human in your home, so you can deliver it to the little humans that come into your home. So.
Oh, I love this so much. I have like tears and goosebumps, because I think what you're saying is like, it's just the most important piece of this.
Yeah.
Because it is like when you do that, and I love how you're calling that out as what we're really looking for in foster parents is the willing to be imperfect and to hang out and to communicate honestly about what's happening so you can get the support you need. Yeah. And it's just it's a life lesson, I think, for everyone.
It is.
So LaCora, you mentioned, so there's obviously like two things going on here. And part of it is the really deep heart work. And then on another level, there's kind of like, you know, the professionalism, the business, like there is paperwork, there are things that you have to kind of take care of. Can you speak a little bit about like, how do we develop both the heart and like the professionalism, if you will, to maintain this relationship?
Now that is a tougher question, but seriously, I guess I like to kind of look at it as like being in a hospital setting. Mm-hmm. You know, you have to kind of turn off your emotions in the moment, because you need to, you know, you got a patient who has a heart issue and you've got to, you know, help them survive, right? So it's a very fine line to walk. And I think again, that transparency, that some days you're on the heart side, you know, understanding that and being able to say that. Audra can tell you, like, you know, there's some days when I'm like, I understand where you're coming from, because you're the parent. You're the one that's in the home. You've held hands. You've held them at night. You're every day. I am on the business side, you know, so I think there's a place of kind of telling yourself those things, you know, and kind of even being self-aware and asking yourself, where am I at today in this journey, right? And you have to, there's a compartmentalizing that has to happen at times. So you have to be aware that I've got to, you know, look at these relatives, but this family, this foster family is I mean, nurturing this child, and this child has come such a long ways. However, we believe children do best whenever at all possible they can be returned home. So I can't let that go, you know, because I have this family that is nurturing this. That's exactly what I need you to do. Love them like they're yours, but respect that they're not. And I have a job I have to do on this side as it relates to ensuring that I have done my due diligence to search for family, to work with the biological parents and see if these children can return home. So it's a fine line. And I think the way you do it is by really connecting to your self-awareness. And even as a foster parent is really kind of, you know, saying, I do love this kid, and it's okay for you to love this kid, and I am happy you love them, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, what goal did you come in seeking to achieve? Did you come in just to adopt? Because if you did, then surely there's nothing wrong with adoption. And I root for every child that gets permanency, no matter how that comes. But if you came in the door and that's where you're at, when you get a child through a public agency, that agency is going to work to try to reunify that child with relatives or their biological parents. So you have to kind of say, I love this kid. Okay, but let me turn that business hat on. Do I have it on? And if I don't have that business mind on, I need to work on how I get that business mind on. And again, connect with people like Tidewater Friends of Foster Care that gives you that environment to talk to other people who are experiencing what you're experiencing. Build a strong relationship with your social workers and, you know, those people, so that your case managers, so that you can really feel safe to have those conversations and help. And I'm never not a fan of a little bit of therapy. So all those things I think kind of help help you kind of know the line, at least see the line, and then be able to talk to yourself about where you sit on it.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And I think, LaCora, it also takes a little bit of mind shift for us as parents, right? Because I think this is the barrier that most people have to entering foster care is, I don't want to get my heart broken. I don't want to love them and let them go. But I think the shift that has to happen, you look at the other side of the diamond here, what you're doing is giving them an amazing gift of love. You're giving them part of your heart, and that is the medicine that helps them heal. So if you look at it from that perspective, like the medical doctor, right? Your tools are your heart. And so you have to be willing to pour that into them so that they can heal and go back to a family that loves them and wants them when that is safe. But also we're hoping that, because it's a big ask, right? We're hoping that parents will be there in case for the long haul they're not able to go home. And if they are able to go home, that they'll still be there for the long haul.
Because it takes a village.
Right.
Absolutely.
For that child's life, you build a relationship with birth family so that you all can love this child.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm a firm believer that if you really want to know how a child is, you want to have a connection to a child. If you don't build one with the biological family prior to, it is really less likely that you'll have any relationship with that child if and when they return home. So you really do want to open that door when it all safe and possible, but you really do want to open that door and have those lines of communication, because really it takes a village for foster families, but it takes a village for biological families too. And I have had the opportunity to see so many foster families and biological families come together and create these amazing bonds that do nothing but enhance the lives of these children. So I think that's amazing. Yes, you're absolutely right.
So how can people know, how can people prepare themselves for the decision of foster care? I mean, we talked a little about a mind shift, but how do they know when they're ready, right? Because there's 1,000 reasons to say no to foster care, right? There were all these questions. How do people know when they're ready?
So I think there's a piece where initially, again, you talked about it, communication, right? If you are a single person, do you have individuals in your life who've experienced foster care or working with foster youth now? Have you ever been connected to any kind of foster care programming? I think that's where you start. You want to, like anything you're interested in, you want to research it. You want to get involved with Tidewater Friends of Foster Care and, get to kind of get that experience and see what's there. You can get with your local Department of Social Services, wherever you're located. If you're in Norfolk, talk to Norfolk. If you're here in the Spotsylvania area, we'd love to meet you and talk with you. So you can get educated about the foster care program, get connected to individuals who have some understanding. If you're a married couple, if you have children, remember it is a family decision. You can't be the mom and say, I want to foster and adopt and not have that conversation with your kids and your husband. It absolutely has to be a family decision to actually become foster and adoptive parents. And again, be willing to just communicate that. Once you decide that you're interested in it and you want to move forward, I would say even partnering, maybe even starting out as doing respite, connecting to that side of it first, so that you give yourself an opportunity to kind of even see what the world looks like. Foster parents who go through training, they participate in this area in the PRIDE training, they get a good kind of hands-on feel for some real life topics and real life situations that have occurred, experience that have occurred with social workers, so that they can kind of understand, oh, wait, I'm not just getting this sweet little infant, So I think you have to connect. You have to be willing to get connected to somebody who has experienced it, or a program that can help you understand the knowledge part. Check in with your family, and then do some experience. Put your foot in there, I guess you would say, so that you can kind of move from there. I definitely say it's a thing you want to ease into. It's not like you just want to say, I want to be a foster parent and go sign up today and grab your first kid.
It takes time, right? Yes. And it should take time, because it's not it's not a light decision.
It's not.
to your point of get your supports lined up. We heard that with Mary McGowan. We keep harping on it. And that's part of what our prospective parent program is all about, is getting people through that decision process with support, with the community that's ready to be there for them the day they say yes. And for our viewers who don't know what respite care is, the licensing process for respite, and that's just temporary, like weekend foster care, short periods of time, it's the same as becoming a foster parent. And so it gives you an insight into exactly what foster parenting is like, and you get to do it just for a few days at a time, kind of help out other families that are doing it, and get an experience of what is this like in my own home, and what are the children like. So I think that's an exceptional piece of advice.
So LaCora, for people who are in the Spotsylvania area, what should they do to take the next step if they're listening to this and they're like, yup, this is for me? What's next?
Well, they can always go to our Spotsylvania Department of Social Services website and look us up there. We have an amazing team called the Resource Adoptive Foster Families Team with Spotsylvania. And we have a group of ladies who do an excellent job of training and coaching, and they would love to have you come on. You can also reach out. Oh, I see my name. To myself at my email address, lharris@dss.virginia.gov. I'll certainly send you to the right people. And that's how you can do it on this end.
Amazing. And then if you're watching this and you are interested in volunteer opportunities or want to be an advocate or do the respite care, do what is right for you. We have more segments coming to you inside of our village community. And you can always go to fostercareaware.org/next steps to get the full guide of all of our speakers and where they have said you can go for all different sorts of opportunities. So LaCora, thank you so much for being with us, and thank you for all the work you do in our communities.
Thank you. I enjoy you guys so much. I can't wait to see you guys in person again.
I know.
Happy Foster Care Aware Month. Woohoo! Keep it going.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And a big thank you for listening. Foster Care Aware is all about spreading the word about how we can help the kids who are in care in whatever capacity works for you. Tidewater Friends of Foster Care is here to help support you through the journey. Whether you want to be a foster parent, volunteer, donor, or advocate, head on over to fostercareaware.org/next steps to learn more.